Just that Ron Morris is a good team. They were hard to play against. That's, new season, obviously. We know every weekend's going to be a challenge no matter who we play in conference, out of conference. So I think the important thing for us is just the last 2 weekends we've had an opportunity to compete and learn what, kind of some areas our team needs to continue to grow in right now, areas that we're executing well. So taking those opportunities for the last couple of weekends, kind of reflect, and then just be really intentional in our process this week in practice and what we're focused in on. So again, for us, I would say, as we look at opponents, it's really about us every single weekend. So that was our message yesterday to our team, as how we prepare this week in our process, our habits, our details, and our preparation is all about us this week.
What were some of the takeaways you had from last week's games that you can apply to this week?
Sure, yeah. I thought, our response on Saturday, I liked our response on Saturday. I think we made some adjustments defensively, kind of focused in on some more areas of taking away time and space from Wisconsin, their speed. I think, that 5 minutes in the first period on Saturday hurt when they scored 3 goals. But our second period response, I really liked that we were on our toes and we tried to take more time and space away. And we had some point blank scoring chances. And then on Friday, just, I think it's been a long time since we've scored 2 goals against Wisconsin. So, taking that offensive opportunities that we had on Friday to get some goals was good as well. I think overall, just, first weekend of play against the number 1 team in the country is an opportunity for us to reflect and really see where we're at as a team right now. And then again, just this weekend, back to work.
Morgan was talking in here earlier. She said that there were, that they played, for the most part, you played a really good game. And then it was the moments that cost you guys goals. And then, 5-0 doesn't look great. But when you think it's just only 5 little moments, how do you end up playing the full 60 minutes and not miss those 5 little moments that end up costing you?
Yeah, we talked about that on Saturday after the game, just asking the players to reflect too. And one of the learning lessons we talked about was playing 60 minutes, right? So, and I think that starts by shift, breaking that down, and then period by period. And so that's, as we go into this season, that was a good lesson for us, is that you have to finish out shifts, you have to finish out periods. Getting scored on with, 30 seconds left in a period hurts. So I think those areas, that was something that we took away from this weekend. And again, we attack that with a shift by shift, period by period kind of approach. And then, breaking that down to that 60-minute kind of game, and making sure we play all 60.
I know that going from playing the top team in the country and the reigning national champs to Robert Morris it probably feels a little bit better, but how do you continue to keep the team consistent so that they don't treat it like it's a letdown from the first weekend they played?
Yeah, great question. We had that meeting yesterday as we started out our Monday week. The importance of that, we don't overestimate anyone, we don't underestimate everyone, and it really is about us and our process and our details and habits. And so it doesn't matter who we play. Of course, we're going to prepare for who we play every weekend and the things that we can break down and how they play and how we can be successful. But the main focus for us this week is us and the importance of that in practice. And so that was our Monday message, and that's our focus this week, is how we can prepare and be intentional, come ready to play Friday.
And I didn't get a chance to ask you this question last week, but now that you're a game into the season, it being your second season coming in, what did you learn from your first season that you were able to bring to make coming into this season maybe easier, or what was that on your end?
Sure, I think your first year of anything you do, you're doing a lot of listening and you're evaluating every day, every series. At the end of the season, you have a great chance to reflect on the things that went well, the things that you need to continue to prove, and then for us as we continue to move forward in our program and building our team and elevating our standards. I think a big piece for us is continuing that preparation and practice and focusing on us and our process. So that was a big area last year, I think, is just, reflecting after the season and finding ways that we continue to make progress. I think you saw that in some statistical categories last year, less goals against, more goals for, improved power play. So there's areas statistically I thought, we reflected on and improved in. And so that's another focus for us this year, is to continue to improve in those statistical areas. And then again, continue to improve in our habits and details. And hopefully that leads to the results that we want.
Does it also feel like, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that it's now that a lot of the women understand the culture that you put in, does it feel like you have to spend less time worrying about the culture you're trying to instill and more time worrying about hockey, or how is that working?
I think it's a combination of both. And I think that's an everyday thing we talk about in our culture. Is that just not something you talk about once and put up on a wall, but culture is about what you do every single day and how you live. And so we do that every single day, and our actions, our details as a staff, and also the expectations of our players. And so we're continuing to build that every single day and get better. And the hockey piece, the same thing, is that you have to continue to strive for that excellence, and that's something that we talk about as we continue to build here. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So that's as we go into year 2, we've just elevated those expectations and standards with our program, and we welcomed in 11 new players this year, similar to last year. So, but they've jumped in on board, and we've only been together for a little over a month, but I think our group is really close already, and they put a lot of work as a team too to build that culture, and they're really close. They spend a lot of time together, and that's been fun to see so far.
Any questions for Amber? How do you like or dislike how your 11 new people made adjustments that you wanted them to make from Friday to Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of players that are put in situations that are in high minutes, and it's going to be a learning process, right, for a while. And so, as we looked at the game on Saturday morning, talked about some adjustments we made, I think we did. And I think a lot of our new players and returners are putting that investment into taking coaching feedback, watching video, being a student of the game. And, on Saturday, we made those adjustments, and small things are big things. And I think some of the areas that we adjusted helped us on Saturday. And I think they'll continue to buy into that. And again, in practice too, we continue to lean into those things. And all of our players right now are doing a great job of that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice with school and stuff, and it's always a pleasure playing at the Sanford Center. So.
What were you able to take away from last weekend's games? You guys were able to put a few pucks in the net against Wisconsin on Friday. Saturday, not as much, but obviously still played a tough game. So what were you able to get away from those 2 games that you could carry into next week?
Yeah, definitely consistency. We had a couple breakdowns of a couple minutes, and that's when they capitalized on us. But if you take those away, it's not, and we stick to our systems, it's doable. And I think just having that mindset and believing that hey, this is doable. So.
What are some of the things that specifically the coaches have talked about you guys working on heading into this series?
Yeah, I think consistency, but it starts in practice. Having good reps every single time you go, and not waiting to the weekend to put everything in. But yeah, just starting to build and put in the work on the little stuff.
And then, I don't know how much film you guys watched. If you guys watched any, what do you know about Robert Morris?
We haven't watched film on them yet, but we will. But yeah, they're not top ranked, but again, we're not underestimating them. We don't go into weekends focusing on our opponent and who they are, obviously. We know their tendencies and stuff, but it doesn't matter who they are. We're going in they are the Badgers. So, yeah.
What do you remember about the Colonials from last season, where I think that might have been your first road trip where you went to Pennsylvania? What do you remember about them last year that you think you could apply to this weekend?
Yeah, I think just, again, about that mindset piece, not underestimating them, but also, too, I think, we're fighting for some revenge a little bit this year. We didn't do our best over there, and I think, we're going to bring it to them this year.
And then for you personally, what are some of the things that you've seen in your game coming into your second year is obviously vastly different than your freshman year. You kind of know how things work and everything. How were you able to hit the ice coming into this season, and what have you maybe that you didn't know coming in last year that you know this year that you've been able to apply?
Yeah, I think knowing that you have more time with the puck than it feels like sometimes, and not feeling as panicky, and I watched our games back from the beginning of last year, and it's night and day difference with when I get the puck. I actually try to make a play, whereas last year it was just flinging it up the wall or something. I think that's a big thing for all the returners. It's definitely patience.